Hello and welcome to this episode of I Don't Know Jack About Parenting, where today I'm going to be talking about your kids suck because you suck first.
So the big question is this: how are parents like us, who don't have a manual, who are doing the best we can, who feel as though we aren't enough, how are we going to raise healthy, happy children who we are proud of and still keep our sanity in that process? That's the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Ryan Roy, and welcome to I Don't Know Jack About Parenting, a podcast for parents who are being real with themselves.
Hello and welcome back to this episode of I Don't Know Jack About Parenting, where today I'm going to be talking about how if you think your kids suck, it's probably because you suck as a parent. Oosh, that was harsh. Number one, I've been wanting to do this episode for some time, and I knew it would come off as harsh. I knew it would come off as, oh, you don't understand that my kid reacts this way, and my kid talks back to me, and my kid does this, and my kid does this. And when you're pointing your finger at your kids, right, for those of you on YouTube who may be watching this, you see what it is, but point your finger at somebody. And typically when you point your finger at somebody, there's three pointing back at yourself. And if more people would look at how they can respond instead of react to certain situations, they'd be better off. Now, what is the one thing that I was the impetus for this particular one? One, I actually wanted this to be the title of a book. I almost wanted to do Be the Dad You Wish You Had, the same exact content, but the title of the book says, Your Kids Suck Because You Suck. And just focus on your time, your dedicated time with them, and how you respond or how you pour into these children. So I'm reading this book right now. And the woman who wrote the book is a doctor, and it's basically connecting with your children and how to do so. And one of the things she says is most parents think that the kids are the problem. And she says what we need to do as parents is understand that all of our challenges that we have, all of our insecurities, all of our fears, all of that is based on something that happened in our past. And most times it stems from our very own childhood and what we experienced. And if we've never dealt with any of that, or we choose to ignore it or bury that, or and we don't do the work ourselves, those same things can be repeated in our relationships with our children. So if a child talks back, it's probably because you haven't gained the child's respect, that you often are an authoritative figure. You say you do it because mommy or daddy said so. You're trying to, and they don't buy into that. It's not a loving way. It's and your kids suck because you suck at being a parent. Your kids suck because you suck at being a person. Your kids suck because you had a crappy childhood, or you've had some trauma in your life that you just haven't dealt with. Now some of you are out there going, nah, you don't understand. I do. I've been there. I've been a really crappy boyfriend. I've been a really crappy son to my mom. I've been a really, really, probably at times miserable husband to my wife. And every time I look at it is when my wife and I have argued in the past, right? I recognize that it takes two to tango. And I understand that if she's upset, maybe I didn't respond appropriately. Maybe I got heated right along with her, and I can only blame myself for that. So as we grow in our relationship, each and every time we have a disagreement or something, I look at myself, how can I handle this situation better? How can I really make sure that I hear her? How can I make sure that she hears me? And she's not going to hear me if I don't hear her. I know that. Your kids are not going to hear you if you don't hear them. So I've done this recently with my little one. I actually did it just 2 days ago with the older one. He was having a mini meltdown in the back of the car. It's the middle of summer. We've done vacations. We've done camps. We've spent family time together. But outside of that, he's not used to being home, right? So when he's home and daddy's working all day from home, he wants attention. And the other day he had a meltdown, and he's like, and you don't love me, and I had a bad day. I had the worst day of my life. Mommy gave me the look as if I didn't do my homework the other day. I said, wait a minute, there's a look as if you didn't do your homework? Yeah, that means she's disappointed in me. I said, what happened? And he had described it, and it was insignificant, and she looked at him a certain way. Oh, she was doing karaoke, and he went to grab the microphone, and she looked at him like, I'm rocking out this middle of the song. Like, why are you trying to grab the microphone? And he took it to heart. We went and had ice cream together. While we're having ice cream, he ordered the grossest thing on the menu. They had a special on Sour Patch Blizzards at Dairy Queen. And I looked at him, I said, I don't know that that's going to be that good. He goes, that's what I want. It's limited for this month only. I want to try it. I said, okay. So he got it. Well, I got the fudge brownie blizzard, and I got a big one knowing that he wouldn't want his. So we sat there and he tried it, and he was trying to man up, right? And we had a whole episode on it. He tried to man up and be like, yeah, it's good. And he took about 3 spoonfuls, and I said, would you like to try mine? Daddy's not going to eat all this. Yeah. I said, well, which one's better? And he's like, well, they're about the same. Then he took another bite of his. He's like, well, maybe yours is a little bit better. By the end of the time, and he didn't want to eat his own, he's like, Dad, this sucks. And I was like, I know it sucks. I tried it too. But that's okay. You could have half of mine. We had it, and he goes, well, I didn't have mine. Can I have a slushie too? I said, no, you bought something. I warned you before you got it. You wanted to try it. You don't like it. I gave you half of mine. We're not buying a slushie. We're not having more sugar. And so we're in the car, and he's like, this is like the worst day. I said, so wait a minute. You went out and had ice cream? Let's talk about this. We went out and had ice cream. You ate half of Daddy's, which you said you absolutely loved. And because I didn't buy you an additional thing, you had a horrible day. And I think there's more to this, right? I know there's more to this, but maybe he was just having an off day. But he went on about how horrible his day was. And I let him have it. I let him have his time. But I also wanted him to know that, life is all about perspective, and we get to choose how we view it. And when I started letting him know that I would wish that he would be in gratitude, that he would be grateful for the fact that we took some time out. I said, look, it was the middle of the day. I hadn't spent a lot of time with you in the last couple of days because of Daddy's workload. And I saw an opportunity to get out of the house. It's summer. It's hot out. Do you want to go get some ice cream, just you and I? And you said yes, and you were really excited about that moment. Do you remember how excited you were? You were like, can we do that? And I said, yeah. And here we are. We've had ice cream, and now it's the worst day of your life. I want you to be in a place of gratitude. Not, oh, this sucks because I didn't get what I wanted after I made a poor decision. See, what I would like you to say is, Dad, and I said this to him, Dad, thanks for bringing me to go get ice cream. And you know what? I probably should have picked something I knew I liked. But thank you for sharing yours with me. And next time I know better just to get something that I really, really like. I said, if you would have said something like that, Daddy would have almost felt inclined to buy you what you wanted. Because I know you're in a space of gratitude. But when you're like, this sucked and that sucked and like this is my worst day, that doesn't make me feel good that I wanted to spend time with my son, and everything of this day and this moment and this time that I wanted to be just you and I has turned into a negative. And nobody wants to. I said, so next week, I said, this isn't going to happen, but in the real world, Christian, in the real world, when somebody does something for you out of the kindness of their heart and you tell them that it's bad, they're not going to want to do it again. You're my son. I want to do these things. But I'm going to think twice about inviting you out somewhere where it's just you and I thinking, oh, is he going to think everything's horrible? Because I don't want to spend my time and my energy and my money on somebody that's not going to appreciate what I'm doing for them. And then he broke down in massive tears. and we were driving to go to the grocery store and pick up a few things for the house. And we drive by the house. He's like, "Why are you not going home?" I said, "Because in life, when you're having a bad day, you still got to show up. And you're going to go shopping with me. I could drop you off and you could sulk, or you can sit there and realize that life goes on. You're old enough now where we can do this." See, I don't know jack about parenting. I just know if I keep protecting him and letting him go cry on the couch and mom not understand what's going on, that I'm just allowing him to be in his space. So we pull up to the grocery store and I said, "Hey, listen, you got a few more minutes. You've been crying for some time. If you want to talk it out, we can. If you don't, just know that I'm going in the store. And you could cry in the store. I'm good with that. Because you need time and space to have your emotions, but we need to get this done. So I'm going to give you like 5 or 6 minutes to gather yourself." And he's like, "Dad, this is just the worst day of my life." And I'm big on asking questions. I said, "Really, this is the worst day of your life?" He says, "Yeah." I said, "Wow, you've lived quite a blessed life, young man. So mom gave you a look that you're not even sure what it is. Dad brought you to get ice cream and you ordered something that you didn't like. Dad shared his ice cream with you. I think you played some games that you wanted to play earlier." I said, "I heard you and your brother laughing, running around the house with your little push cart and his little truck and chasing each other. You guys seemed happy there. And I'll repeat, you seemed happy when I asked you to go get ice cream. Those are the only 2 times in a day. The rest of the day has been horrible. This is the worst day of my life." I said, "Again, you've had a pretty blessed day for the worst day of your life. So I'm actually pretty happy that this has only been your worst day of your life. Let me do you a favor. I want you to put this in perspective, Christian. Let's call your friend," his best friend, by the way, and if you've listened to any other episodes, his best friend lost his mother not too long ago. Unexpectedly, in her sleep, gone. 43 years old. I said, "Let's call your friend." I don't want to use his name for various, right? You get it. "Let's call your friend and ask him what the worst day of his life is." He goes, "Well, what?" I go, "What day do you think that is?" And he goes, "Well, I don't." Oh. He went from sobbing to oh. I said, "Would you like me to call him and you explain your worst day versus his worst day?" Because I imagine every day since that day for him, which happened 4 or 5 months ago, has been worse than today. Do you want to call him or do you want me to call him? And would you like to talk to him and ask him the question? "No, Dad." I said, the word there is perspective, young man. And I know that it's a bad day for you, but overall, this is a pretty good day. And I'm sorry that you feel this way. But let me tell you something. I know you hate these lectures, and I know he feels like they're lectures. I said, "I know you hate when Daddy does this stuff. But I would say this. Today's a bad day because you feel like Daddy's, telling you that you should be more grateful in this." I said, if you don't learn to be grateful for the things you have and you focused on the things that you don't have, such as the slushie and the right ice cream, and you weren't able to take the microphone out of Mom's hand while she was enjoying the karaoke, if you focus on those little moments and you find the negative as opposed to, hey, there's music in my house and my mom's singing and it's kind of fun, or wow, my dad brought me out for ice cream in the middle of the day and it was just he and I, and even though I got the wrong stuff, my dad shared his ice cream with me. If you tend to focus on those negative things as opposed to those positive things, you're going to live a long life of looking at the world as if somebody's out to get you. And you're going to have a lot of really bad days when the days really aren't bad because you're choosing to not be in a place of gratitude. See, again, I don't know jack about parenting. But I know I'd rather let my kid sit there and cry and pour a lesson into him perfectly calm. And I reiterated multiple times in this, Daddy is not upset with you. I said, and if I don't talk to you this way, if I don't pour into you, if I don't give you perspective, I'm not doing my job. Because you're going to think it's okay to have horrible days in days where there's lots of rainbows. See, there's a little bit of rain. There's got to be rain for there to be a rainbow. There's lots of rainbows in just a little bit of rain in your day. And you're racking it up to the worst day of your life. I don't know jack about parenting, but I know a lot of people have a warped sense of perspective. A lot of people have, first world problems like, oh, I didn't get my Amazon package here fast enough. Oh my goodness. I waited till the last minute and I overnighted it, and guess what? They failed to get it to me on time. No, you failed to pre-plan and get it to yourself on time. You were too lazy to go down the road. You thought that Amazon would do it for you, and you paid for it. You thought, instead of taking your own ownership, right? These are problems that people don't have. My son and I went to McDonald's last week. I think I did this in another podcast, and we pull up, and guess what? He's like, there's too long a line here at McDonald's. It took us less than 4 minutes to get our food from the back of the line. But yet that was too long for him. We're living in a world, people. I don't know jack about parenting, but we're living in a world of instant gratification. And if our kids think that the worst day of their life is because they had an unpleasant blizzard at Dairy Queen, or somebody didn't give them the microphone that they were already using, that's a problem. So I focused on not sucking as a parent and letting him know that there needs to be more gratitude from him. Now, I'll say this. He's a great kid, and most days there is gratitude. He was just having an off day. But I want him to be in that mindset to be better. I don't want him to suck out in the real world. And I'll tell you why I don't want him to suck, because partially that's a reflection of me and what I do while he's under my roof. And I don't want to suck. So although I fail every single day as a parent, I hope I learn from those failures. I hope I learn from those mistakes. And I hope that as you're going through this journey with your kids, you look yourself in the mirror and say, how can I do better? How can I respond better? If there's something stirring in you and you want to respond a certain way to your children when they're running amok, what is it that you need to deal with internally so that you could be better for them, so that they could be better? Because I'm going to tell you, the kids out there that suck, it's because their parents suck too. We'll see you in the next episode.
Do you want to be the dad you wish you had? If so, go get my free book, Be the Dad You Wish You Had, at BeTheDadYouWishYouHad.com. Inside, you'll find my most effective 40 tips to quickly and easily transform yourself into the ideal dad. Go to BeTheDadYouWishYouHad.com now and get it while it's free.